I don't know which company started this practice, but they all picked up on it eventually, and I really hate it. It really works in the favor of planned obsolescence, as you'll see. This time I have a light-on DVD recorder. Model number is this one here. Not the same one that I've already got, that's for sure. This is a LVW5115GHC+. It's a C+. Okay. Made in China, of course. When was this thing made? 2006. May 2006. And it has a tuner in it, but no RF output. It's just a pass-through. No DVD output, it says here. Got your conventional AV outputs, component outputs, and AV inputs. On the front, this one has AV inputs on the front and a DV input, so you can record right from a DV camera. That's kind of neat. You can dump your DV footage straight over to DVD. No S-video input on this one. This was given to me. I have no idea if it works or anything. I got a remote control here. Don't even know if it's the right remote for this one, but I think it probably is. It is a light-on remote from my old light-on. And let's see if this thing will even turn on. Power. Okay, it turns on there. It says hello on the display, but it doesn't open, and then it shuts off. Oh, it's not opening. It says open, but it's not opening. Oh, there, it opened that time. What about if I push the button on here? Will it close? Maybe this remote's not the right remote. That might be why. This remote does not appear to be operating it. Well, that would kind of suck, because without the remote control, you really can't do anything on them. Well, let's just hook it up to a TV and see what shows up on the screen. I know the remote works because I used this thing about a month ago on another light-on DVD recorder that I have. Oh, crap. This might explain why the remote control is not doing anything, because it looks like the batteries have leaked in here. Jesus. You know? You gotta be kidding. Energizer garbage. Like, I would expect this from Duracrap, but Energizer batteries apparently are no better. Well, let's clean this up. Batteries just leaked all over the place. I have a neutralizing agent here that is mildly acidic, about 4%. And this should neutralize any of the caustic effects of that bad battery that's still in here. If you're wondering what the mystery solution is, it's just vinegar. If you're dealing with non-alkaline batteries, oh, my garage door just opened. It's only been open for the past 15 minutes. I just got my notification that it opened. Wonderful system that we have. If you're dealing with zinc carbon batteries, you want to clean up the contacts after batteries have leaked. You need to use a slightly base material, and for that you're going to use a solution of baking soda and water. Make a paste with some baking soda and a little bit of water, and use that to clean up the mess. And for alkaline batteries, which is what most things are these days, a weak vinegar solution will neutralize what's left behind, which is usually potassium hydroxide, I believe is what a lot of these batteries use. So we'll try a couple new batteries and see whether this remote control is putting out a signal, and whether it will actually control this unit. Night shot reveals that the remote's putting out a signal. The question is, will it control this machine, or is it a different wavelength? And it looks like it's different, because it still doesn't control the machine. You can turn it on with the button on the side here, but not from the remote, and I can't open it or close it. So the remote control is different. I'm going to go and try to learn a remote for this. I've got a test remote that I use which is a Harmony. I'll just load in the codes for this and see whether it will control this model, but definitely it's a different code than the RM51 light on remote, which controlled the, I think that's the 5001 or 5005, I forget the model, but the other ones that I have two of them. One likes to eat discs, and by eat discs I mean it destroys them. It burns them and then they can never be burned again. Like RW discs, you'll record to an RW disc and it will permanently destroy the disc and it can never be erased or used again. It's ridiculous. I don't know what this one's got in it for a drive, but the first generation of these light-on machines that everyone bought at Costco because they could record to anything. They could record to CDR, CDRW, DVD-R, DVD+R, DVD-RW, DVD+RW. The only thing that wouldn't record to was DVD-RAM, and a lot of us bought them because, well, they could record to any format. But the problem was the drives in them were the shits. They were very picky on what brand of discs that you put into them. If you didn't put the discs in that they liked, they wouldn't work. So they were really quite a piece of garbage, but they were cheap. And I think this one probably falls into the same category. It's a cheap burner. Oh wow, I just got my cell phone bill. A whole $16.80. Can't complain about that. My wife's bill arrives too. Hers is $33.60. Can't complain about that one. Okay, I've programmed my Harmony remote. Let's just see whether this will open it or not. Try eject. Open. It says open. Sticking. Well, at least that part works. Close. So at least we know that this remote now controls it, because that one doesn't do anything. So different code that they used. I'm just looking to see what options we've got on here. See if it's got everything on here. It's got setup. It's got navigation, source, top menu, TV mode, album, VCR plus, timer, and setup. So what does setup do? We'll see if this thing actually makes a recording and what type of disc it will work with. Some of these machines had the ability to record, door sticking a bit, video CDs onto CD media. So I want to see whether if I put CD media in with this, will it give me the option to make a video CD, or will it just kick the disc out? This is an old CDRW, very first generation CDRW actually, and yes, it still works. This is invalid disc, so obviously this does not accept CD media. It might play audio CDs, but it doesn't accept blank discs. I'll try a DVD plus RW disc on here and see whether it will read this. If I get an invalid media on this one as well, then there's a good chance the DVD drive in here is no good. It says reading on the screen. I'm not showing you the TV here just because I don't want to get popped with copyright. Okay, it indicates it's a DVD plus RW, which it is. As soon as it identified the disc, the TV picture froze on the screen. I can't even change the channel. Check this out. So as soon as it read the disc, it just stuck on this image. See if I can try changing the. Oh, now it's working. That's weird. It's stuck there. Okay, let's just try and do a recording. I'll hit record, and nothing's happening. Just froze the picture again. Record doesn't do anything. There's a circle with a slash through it at the top, like it's telling me I can't record on this disc. I just made a recording on this disc. I just recorded the news for a couple minutes. We'll see if this one can play what I recorded back. But nothing wrong with the disc. The disc records fine. So if this machine can't record or play it, then there's a problem with the drive. We'll pop this machine apart and just see if it's something relatively minor, but I'm not planning on spending a heck of a lot of time on this thing because it's not worth anything, right? I mean, these are the type of things that you give away, hence how I ended up with it. Oh yeah, so it is playing. It just went into play automatically. This is what I just recorded on it a couple minutes ago. So if I try stopping this, mark stop, if I hit record, will it go into record? See, it won't let me record. It won't let me record on here. It's only letting me play, which is really bizarre. If I hit play, it'll play what I recorded on my other machine. I don't think it's the program that's blocked from recording, it's just CNN. I'll just try a different channel. I'll try my security cameras and see whether I can hit record on them. And it still won't let me record. So obviously this machine has a problem as far as recording goes, because as you can see, it's just got that circle with a slash through it indicating it's not going to let me do it. Let's just pull the top off this piece of crap and see what type of drive is in here before I condemn it. Never been opened because I'm breaking the warranty seal right now the first time. So this one's never been opened. Okay, here's the inside of this machine. Unlike the old version, it does not have a computer type drive in it. This is just a more of a conventional type of a drive, which is interesting. Light on prior to this, the previous model, it used just an IDE drive. One thing I didn't consider on this one might be DVD-R and DVD-RW only. The prior one would record on anything. Like my Toshiba, it will record on plus or minus or dash discs. But my Panasonic, for example, only records on -RW or -R. So I'm going to go grab a DVD-RW disc and see if it will record to that. You see, normally it would tell you on the front what it's capable of, but as you can see, the printing on the front has been worn off. So very possible this is just a DVD dash, or minus as some people call it, because they like to pump up that the DVD-R was a negative as opposed to the plus R, which was a positive. But that's got nothing to do with it. The plus R have some, or plus RW have some functionality that the -R didn't have, such as they were automatically basically a packet writing format, so you could take the disc out without finalizing it and it would play. Whereas the -RW, like a CD or like a DVD-R, has to be finalized. But other than that, they both do exactly the same thing. It's just two different companies competing, develop different systems. The -R was the first format, and the plus R followed. Okay, this is now loaded. I'll just try putting it on, say, CNN, and I'll hit record, and it says recording. So there we go. So that problem is not so much a problem with the drive, but it's a problem with the actual media itself. This requires the -R media. It does not have a dual format drive like the earlier light-on drives did. So I'll just make a recording here for a couple minutes. You'll notice on the front that the red light is on here indicating it's recording. It has a nice display on here, a nice green. It's a vacuum fluorescent display, it looks like, on the front. I'll just record this for a minute or so, and that's probably enough, and I'll hit stop, and we'll try playing it back, and then I'll go through some of the menus and see if I can format the disc and unformat, or not format, but format or finalize the disc and unfinalize it, etc. Because a disc like this would have to be finalized in order for it to play in another machine. So it says it's stopped now. Let's see if it'll play back what I've just recorded. So if I hit play, and oh, there it is. See, it comes up with a menu. So hit play, and there it is. Looks pretty good to me. It's even got freeze frame and frame advance from the front panel. Now, in order to make this recording compatible with other machines, I would have to go into the menu. So let me just get into the menu for this thing. I don't seem to be able to find some way to set this up and finalize the disc. I'm not getting to a menu that will let me finalize it. So it may very well be that there's buttons that were on the factory remote that are not included in the download for this particular Harmony remote. I can control the basic functions, but I can't finalize a disc, and that's kind of a problem, because if you can't finalize a disc, then it's not going to play back on anything other than the machine that made the recording. I can't format it either, so that is a problem. So we may end up just tossing this machine or giving it away to someone who has a remote, who's already had one in the past. The other light-on remote has a button that's called Guider, and this is the button that you use to go to all the other menus, like for finalizing the disc or unfinalizing a DVD-RW, or selecting the different modes. And there's no Guider option on here. And yes, it could be added. If I had the original remote, I could point it into the bottom here and learn it, but I don't have the original remote, and that's part of the problem with a lot of these devices, is that they just did not include enough buttons on them in order to really do anything useful other than playing a disc. You could record it, sure, and you could play it back, but you couldn't erase it, right? There's no way here, there's no buttons on here that'll allow me to erase anything. So because of that, I will have to say that this thing here is a piece of junk. The recording has been completed. It says finalize the disc so it make it compatible with other units, other DVD players, but no way to finalize because no remote control. There's the problem. Before I toss this machine, I'm going to pop the top off here and just take a look at what optical pickup it's got. Wouldn't it be something if it used the same optical pickup that my Panasonic that needs an optical pickup uses? That'd be something if it did. I think that's wishful thinking, but one will never know unless they actually open it up and inspect it. So that will do. I checked one of my Panasonic recorders, and it's similar, but it's not the same pickup. But I have another one that the pickup is shot on, and it certainly looks similar from what I remember. It might not be the same, but I'll dig it out at some point and we'll check it. But for now, I'm going to just throw this one back together because, well, this works. Nothing wrong with this unit at all, other than the fact that I need the correct remote in order to finalize discs. So as it sits, it's kind of useless, but I'll just put it back in up on the shelf, and if I ever come across a remote for one, then I'll have another working DVD recorder. Not that I really need another DVD recorder. I've got enough DVD recorders, I think, probably to last me the rest of my life. It's not like they're used that much, right? I used to use them a lot when a lot of people were archiving stuff to DVD, which used to happen, I would say probably 90% of my archive customers at the time requested a DVD backup. When they had their footage archived onto a memory stick, they'd ask for a DVD backup. But today it's maybe 1 in 10, so they don't get a lot of use. They don't have much value, and that's why people are getting rid of them. But at least this one still works for the time being. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when people's USB sticks fail. I have a customer right now that I did the archive work for them about, I'm going to say probably 6 years ago now. I'm avoiding the woman because she keeps calling me to tell me that she can't play her recordings back of her travels and stuff. And at the time it was done, I recommended that she have a backup copy on DVD. And her words to me was, well, no one has a DVD player anymore, so why do I need to back it up onto DVD? So she backed all of her tapes, about a dozen 8mm tapes, to just to memory stick only. And of course now, for whatever reason, the memory stick is not valid. She can't read any of it. So she's been contacting me, wanting me to redo all of the work for her, but she seems to feel that it's going to be redone for free because she couldn't play the recordings. And well, that's not going to happen. It's not going to get redone for free. If she wants it done again, she'll have to pay again because, again, not my problem. You know, did these archiving for this woman say 5 or 6 years ago. She had 5 or 6 years to make a copy of it or to contact me. I told her when she got it, I said, make sure that you're able to copy the files to your hard drive so you've got a backup copy, and I'll keep the source because at the time everything was done onto the computer, and so I'll keep the source files on the computer for about a week or two, and if I don't hear back from you, then I'm going to erase the source files. I'm not going to keep them. I can't archive your stuff forever. Of course, not hearing anything back from her, I went and erased the disk and reused it, erased the files from the hard drive and reused it, and now 6 years later she's looking to have a copy made. And I said, well, sorry, I don't have the files anymore to do that. You should have had a backup copy made onto disk. If she'd had a backup copy made onto DVD at the time, there wouldn't be an issue. But unfortunately, she didn't do that, and didn't back up the memory stick when she had the opportunity before the memory stick itself was damaged somehow. Anyway, that one's going up on the shelf. We know it works, but without the right remote, as I showed, can't really do much with it. Thanks for watching.